This is Earl Nightingale, speaking to you from the quiet of a late-night studio, where the world beyond these walls is cloaked in silence, where the lamplight casts a warm and solemn glow, where the stars above burn with truths that have waited through the ages for those who dare to listen, to ponder, to awaken, to claim their place in the eternal tapestry of time, to kindle a fire that lights the heavens, to weave a legacy that endures forever, to sing a truth that echoes through the soul of eternity. Tonight, my friends, we gather not to chase the fleeting glitter of gold, nor to bind our hearts to the cold weight of coins, but to unveil a mystery so profound, so radiant, that its absence casts a shadow over the spirit, a silence over the heart, a longing over the soul. This is a journey to uncover what they never taught you about money in school, a truth so vital that to grasp it is to hold a star, to shape a destiny, to carve a monument that stands through the centuries. Before we begin, I invite you to join a sacred fellowship of seekers, those who dare to pierce the veil of the ordinary, to seek wisdom that burns beyond the surface, to light a spark that could illuminate their path forever. Subscribe to this broadcast, for what you hear tonight is a whisper from eternity, a beacon to guide your soul, a truth to etch your name into the heart of time, a light to shine through the ages. Share your thoughts below, for your voice is a thread in the tapestry of greatness, a spark that could kindle a world, a whisper that could stir the hearts of generations, a light that could illuminate the cosmos. Stay with me, for this is no ordinary hour. It is a summons to awaken, a call to rise, a moment to seize a truth that could redefine your life, a spark that could light your destiny, a legacy that could endure forever. In the still hours of the night, when the world lies hushed beneath a velvet sky, when the stars burn low like embers in a sacred hearth, there light a promise to those who watch. When the silence pulses with the whispers of the soul, there stirs a fear that haunts the heart of every man who treads this earth, a shadow that lingers over his spirit, a question that gnaws at his soul like a river carving stone. It is not the fear of want, nor the dread of a hearth grown cold, nor the specter of a life without shelter. It is not poverty that casts this quiet unease. It is a deeper, more haunting fear, the fear of never truly understanding the force that shapes our days, that weaves our dreams, that carves our paths through the tapestry of life. Money, that ancient and invisible current, flows through the world like a river through a valley, sowing fields, forging tools, sailing ships, building empires, weaving truths, singing hymns, carving monuments, kindling fires that burn eternal. Yet for most, it remains a mystery, a riddle locked in shadow, a language spoken but never mastered, a star unseen though it shines above, a truth unvoiced though it could sing through the ages. Picture a man, his hands weathered by years of toil, his eyes heavy with the weight of countless dawns, standing alone at the crossroads of his life, his silhouette a quiet question against the horizon. He has labored as a farmer, his plow tracing furrows in the earth, his seeds yielding harvests to feed the village. Yet he trades his bounty for coins he does not fathom. They're worth a whisper he cannot hear. He has stood as a blacksmith, his hammer ringing against iron, forging tools that shape homes and fields. Yet he knows not the value of his craft beyond the wages he earns, their meaning a shadow he cannot grasp. He has sailed as a mariner, his ship braving the seas, his sails catching winds that carry him to distant shores. Yet he grasps not the wealth of his cargo, nor the currents that weave trade across nations. Their power is secret he cannot chart. He has bartered as a merchant, his scales steady, his ledger filled with numbers. Yet he sees not the invisible hands that move the market, their art a mystery he cannot trace. He is taught as a schoolmaster, his words shaping young minds. Yet he speaks not of the principles that govern wealth, their wisdom a lesson he cannot share. He has sung as a poet, his verses stirring hearts with beauty, yet he knows not the value of his words, their fire a light he cannot see. He has pondered as a philosopher, his thoughts soaring to the heavens, yet he applies them not to the art of living, their truth a path he cannot walk. He has woven as a weaver, his loom crafting tapestries that tell tales of eternity, yet he grasps not the worth of his threads, their stories a legacy he cannot claim. He is tended as a gardener, his blooms rivaling the splendor of paradise, yet he sees not the wealth in his soil, their hope a dream he cannot hold. He is carved as a stonemason, his monuments rising from stone to stand through centuries, yet he understands not the immortality of his craft, their endurance a truth he cannot touch. He is played as a violinist, her melodies lifting souls to the heavens, yet she knows not the power of her song, its music a gift she cannot measure. He is stitched as a tailor, his garments gracing the form with elegance, yet he comprehends not the value of his craft, its grace of beauty he cannot see. He has wandered as a traveler, his roads sparking wonder, yet he charts not the wealth of his journeys, their adventurous story he cannot tell. He has written as a calligrapher, his quill tracing truths that burn through time, yet he values not the light of his words, their radiance a fire he cannot kindle. He has baked as a baker, his loaves nourishing the weary, yet he grasps not the warmth of his labor, its hope a sustenance he cannot share. He has molded as a candle maker, his flames piercing the darkness, yet he sees not the worth of his light, its glow a star he cannot follow. He is crafted as a watchmaker, his gears turning moments into eternity, yet he understands not the time he holds, its rhythm a pulse he cannot feel. He is shaped as a potter, his clay vessels holding life's essence, yet he knows not the beauty he forms, its grace a treasure he cannot claim. He is painted as a painter, his canvases stirring hearts with dreams, yet he values not the fire of his colors, their vision a light he cannot see. He is built as a carpenter, his wood sheltering the weary, yet he grasps not the strength of his craft, its endurance a foundation he cannot lay. He is polished as a jeweler, his gems catching the dawn's light, yet he sees not the radiance he shapes, its brilliance a star he cannot hold. He has tanned as a leather worker, his hides enduring through time, yet he understands not the strength he crafts, its resilience a power he cannot wield. He has ground as a miller, his grain feeding the world, yet he knows not the sustenance he provides, its bounty a harvest he cannot reap. He is bound as a cooper, his barrels holding life's riches, yet he grasps not the wealth he contains, its abundance a treasure he cannot keep. He has etched as an engraver, his marks shining through ages, yet he values not the truths he carves, their light a wisdom he cannot share. He is stitched as an embroiderer, her silk weaving beauty eternal, yet she sees not the grace she crafts, its splendor a gift she cannot give. He is scribed as a scribe, his parchment echoing through centuries, yet he understands not the wisdom he writes, its truth a legacy he cannot claim. He is played as a lyrist, his songs lifting the heavens, yet he knows not the power of his hymns, their glory a music he cannot hear. He is sculpted as a sculptor, his stone breathing life eternal, yet he grasps not the immortality he shapes, its spirit a monument he cannot build. He is bound as a bookbinder, his pages preserving knowledge, yet he values not the truth he holds, its light a wisdom he cannot share. He is hammered as a coppersmith, his metal gleaming through time, yet he sees not the worth of his craft, its shine a beauty he cannot see. He is laid as a mosaicist, his tiles telling tales of eternity, yet he knows not the stories he weaves, their radiance a truth he cannot tell. He is crafted as a glassmaker, his windows glowing with heaven's light, yet he grasps not the splendor he creates, its glory of vision he cannot see. He has tended as a beekeeper, his honey sweetening the world, yet he understands not the wealth of his hives, its bounty a gift he cannot share. He is forged as a bell founder, his bells ringing through ages, yet he values not the voice he crafts, its call a sound he cannot hear. He has woven as a basket weaver, his reeds holding life's burdens, yet he sees not the strength he shapes, its resilience a power he cannot wield. He is bound as a bookbinder, his tomes guarding wisdom, yet he knows not the legacy he preserves, its truth a treasure he cannot claim. He has gathered as a herbalist, his remedies healing the weary, yet he grasps not the virtue of his plants, their healing a gift he cannot give. He has cast as a fisherman, his nets drawing life from the sea, yet he knows not the wealth of his catch, its sustenance a bounty he cannot measure. He is tended as a vintner, his vines yielding wine to warm the heart, yet he grasps not the richness of his harvest, its joy a gift he cannot share. He is rowed as a ferryman, his boat carrying souls across rivers, yet he understands not the value of his passage, its journey a path he cannot chart. He is woven as a wicker worker, his baskets cradling life's treasures, yet he sees not the strength he crafts, its endurance a power he cannot wield. He is hewn as a quarryman, his stones building the world, yet he knows not the worth of his labor, its foundation a truth he cannot lay. He is shaped as a silversmith, his metal gleaming with light, yet he grasps not the beauty he creates, its radiance a star he cannot hold. He has rung as a bell ringer, his chimes calling the dawn, yet he values not the voice he shares, its song a truth he cannot sing. This man has earned his bread, counted his coins, bartered in the marketplace, yet a quiet unease stirs within him, a whisper in the silence, a shadow over his soul. He senses that he has chased a treasure without knowing its worth, walked a path without seeing its end, held a light without grasping its radiance, followed a star without charting its course, sung a song without hearing its melody, carved a truth without feeling its weight. This fear is not loud, nor does it cry out in the clamor of the day. It lingers like a whisper in the heart, a question unasked, a truth unlearned, a fire unlit, a star unseen, a song unsung, a legacy unbuilt. It is the fear of a life spent pursuing what we do not comprehend, of a journey walked without a map, of a labor offered without understanding, of a soul yearning for a light it cannot see, of a heart longing for a truth it cannot hold, of a spirit seeking a song it cannot sing. Across the fields and forges, the harbors and markets, the schoolhouses and studios, the looms and gardens, the stones and strings, the roads and quills, the ovens and wicks, the gears and clays, the canvases and gems, the hides and grains, the barrels and etchings, the silks and parchments, the lyres and marbles, the pages and coppers, the tiles and glasses, the hives and bells, the baskets and books, the herbs and nets, the vines and boats, the wickers and stones, the silver and chimes. Countless souls share this silent fear, their lives a tapestry woven with threads of toil, yet missing the golden strand of wisdom, the radiant thread of understanding, the eternal thread of truth. Lean close, my friends, for in this fear lies a truth that could light a fire to shine through the ages, a star to guide through the cosmos, a song to lift through the heavens, a legacy to endure through eternity. Before we journey further, I invite you to join this fellowship of the awakened, this circle of souls who dare to face the shadows and claim the light. Subscribe to this broadcast, for these truths are sparks to kindle your purpose, stars to guide your path, songs to lift your spirit, lights to shine through your eternity. Share your thoughts below. What does this hidden fear whisper to your heart? Your voice is a flame that could light a world, a star that could shine through the ages, a song that could lift the heavens, a truth that could endure forever. Let it be heard, for in speaking, you weave your thread into the tapestry of greatness. You kindle a light that shines through the cosmos. You carve a legacy that endures forever. Deep within the heart of every man, there lies a voice, a quiet, ancient knowing, a whisper from the dawn of the soul, a spark from the fire of creation, a star from the heavens of eternity, a song from the hymns of time. It speaks of freedom, of mastery, of the power to shape one's own destiny, to craft a life that burns with purpose, to weave a legacy that endures through the ages, to kindle a light that shines through the cosmos, to sing a truth that lifts the heavens. This is the voice that stirred in the days of our youth, when we built ships from driftwood and dreamed of uncharted seas, when we carved swords from sticks and imagined empires, when we gathered stones and envisioned castles, when we gazed at the stars and felt the pulse of eternity in our veins, when we sang songs and heard the hymns of forever in our hearts. It spoke of ownership, of creating with our hands, of exchanging value with the world in a way that lifted the spirit, of standing tall as builders, as dreamers, as poets, as philosophers, as farmers, as blacksmiths, as sailors, as merchants, as teachers, as weavers, as gardeners, as stonemasons, as violinists, as tailors, as travelers, as calligraphers, as bakers, as candle makers, as watchmakers, as potters, as painters, as carpenters, as jewelers, as leatherworkers, as millers, as coopers, as engravers, as embroiderers, as scribes, as lyrists, as sculptors, as bookbinders, as coppersmiths, as musicists, as glassmakers, as beekeepers, as bell founders, as basket weavers, as bookbinders, as herbalists, as fishermen, as vintners, as ferrymen, as wickerworkers, as quarrymen, as silversmiths, as bell ringers. It told the farmer's son that his seed was more than grain. It was a promise of life, a harvest of hope. It told the blacksmith's apprentice that his iron was more than metal. It was a tool of creation, a spark of strength. It told the sailor's child that the sea was more than water. It was a path to wonder, a tide of destiny. It told the merchant's heir that his trade was more than barter. It was a bridge across empires, a vision of connection. It told the teacher's pupil that his lessons were more than words. They were seeds of understanding, a light for the mind. It told the poet that his verses were more than rhymes. They were flames of the soul, a song for the ages. It told the philosopher that his thoughts were more than musings. They were lanterns for the centuries, a truth that endures. It told the weaver that her threads were more than cloth. They were tales that echo through time, a tapestry of meaning. It told the gardener that her blooms were more than flowers. They were hopes that blossom eternal, a garden of dreams. It told the stonemason that his stone was more than rock. It was a monument to the ages, a legacy of endurance. It told the violinist that her strings were more than notes. They were hymns that lift the heavens, a melody of the soul. It told the tailor that his garments were more than fabric. They were elegance that graces the spirit, a robe of beauty. It told the traveler that his roads were more than paths. They were adventures that spark wonder, a journey of discovery. It told the calligrapher that his words were more than ink. They were truths that shine through centuries, a light of wisdom. It told the baker that his bread was more than food. It was warmth that feeds the soul, a gift of sustenance. It told the candlemaker that his flames were more than light. They were stars that banish darkness, a glow of hope. It told the watchmaker that his gears were more than time. They were moments that count the stars, a rhythm of eternity. It told the potter that his clay was more than earth. It was beauty that holds life's essence, a vessel of meaning. It told the painter that his colors were more than pigment. They were dreams that stir the heart, a canvas of vision. It told the carpenter that his wood was more than timber. It was strength that shelters the weary, a foundation of care. It told the jeweler that his gems were more than stones. They were radiance that catches the dawn, a brilliance of light. It told the leather worker that his hides were more than skin. They were endurance that stands through time, a resilience of spirit. It told the miller that his grain was more than seed. It was sustenance that feeds the world, a harvest of life. It told the cooper that his staves were more than wood. They were vessels that hold life's riches, a treasure of abundance. It told the engraver that his marks were more than scratches. They were truths that shine through ages, a wisdom of craft. It told the embroiderer that her silk was more than thread. It was beauty that graces forever, a pattern of art. It told the scribe that his parchment was more than paper. It was wisdom that echoes through centuries, a legacy of thought. It told the lyrist that his strings were more than chords. They were hymns that lift the heavens, a music of the soul. It told the sculptor that his stone was more than marble. It was life that breathes eternity, a monument of creation. It told the bookbinder that his pages were more than paper. They were knowledge that preserves the ages, a treasure of truth. It told the coppersmith that his metal was more than ore. It was craft that gleams through time, a shine of skill. It told the mosaicist that his tiles were more than fragments. They were stories that shine eternal, a beauty of history. It told the glassmaker that his windows were more than glass. They were heavens that glow with light, a splendor of faith. It told the beekeeper that his honey was more than sweetness. It was bounty that feeds the soul, a gift of nature. It told the bell founder that his bells were more than metal. They were voices that call through ages, a sound of time. It told the basket weaver that his reeds were more than fibers. They were strength that holds life's burdens, a craft of endurance. It told the bookbinder that his tomes were more than bindings. They were wisdom that guards the centuries, a legacy of knowledge. It told the herbalist that his remedies were more than plants. They were healing that soothes the weary, a virtue of care. It told the fisherman that his nets were more than rope. They were life drawn from the sea, a bounty of sustenance. It told the vintner that his vines were more than grapes. They were joy that warms the heart, a harvest of celebration. It told the ferryman that his boat was more than wood. It was passage across life's rivers, a journey of connection. It told the wicker worker that his baskets were more than reeds. They were treasures that hold life's gifts, a craft of care. It told the quarryman that his stones were more than rock. They were foundations that build the world, a legacy of strength. It told the silversmith that his metal was more than ore. It was beauty that shines through time, a radiance of art. It told the bell ringer that his chimes were more than sound. They were calls that wake the dawn, a song of time. But somewhere along the way, this voice was silenced, not by force, nor by malice, but by the slow, steady weight of repetition, of obedience, of lessons carved and wrote upon the blackboards of our youth, etched in the chalk dust of routine, buried in the silence of conformity, dimmed in the shadow of sameness, hushed in the hum of the ordinary. In the schoolhouses we were taught to read, to write, to count, to trace the paths laid before us, to follow the rules that bound us, to walk the narrow lanes of lessons that prepared us for labor, but not for life, for earning but not for understanding, for existence but not for meaning, for toil but not for truth, for wages but not for wisdom, for days but not for destiny. The farmer's son was shown the plow, but not the wealth in his seed before it grows. The blacksmith's apprentice was given the hammer, but not the truth of his iron before it shapes. The sailor's child was taught the stars, but not the value of his cargo before it sails. The merchant's heir was shown the ledger, but not the currents that move the market. The teacher's pupil was taught to recite, but not to unveil the truths that awaken. The poet was taught to rhyme, but not to value the fire of his verses. The philosopher was taught to think, but not to apply his wisdom to the art of living. The weaver was taught to thread, but not to see the tales in her loom. The gardener was taught to plant, but not to grasp the hope in her blooms. The stonemason was taught to carve, but not to understand the immortality in his stone. The violinist was taught to play, but not to know the power of her song. The tailor was taught to stitch, but not to see the elegance in his craft. The traveler was taught to walk, but not to chart the wealth of his journeys. The calligrapher was taught to write, but not to value the light of his words. The baker was taught to knead, but not to grasp the warmth of his labor. The candlemaker was taught to mold, but not to see the worth of his light. The watchmaker was taught to craft, but not to understand the eternity in his gears. The potter was taught to shape, but not to know the beauty in his clay. The painter was taught to brush, but not to value the dreams in his colors. The carpenter was taught to build, but not to grasp the strength in his wood. The jeweler was taught to polish, but not to see the radiance in his gems. The leatherworker was taught to tan, but not to understand the endurance in his hides. The miller was taught to grind, but not to know the sustenance in his grain. The cooper was taught to bind, but not to grasp the wealth in his barrels. The engraver was taught to etch, but not to value the truths in his marks. The embroiderer was taught to stitch, but not to see the beauty in her silk. The scribe was taught to scribe, but not to understand the wisdom in his words. The lyrist was taught to play, but not to know the heavens in his songs. The sculptor was taught to carve, but not to grasp the life in his stone. The bookbinder was taught to bind, but not to value the knowledge in his pages. The coppersmith was taught to hammer, but not to see the worth in his craft. The mosaicist was taught to lay, but not to know the stories in his tiles. The glassmaker was taught to craft, but not to grasp the splendor in his windows. The beekeeper was taught to tend, but not to understand the wealth in his hives. The bell founder was taught to forge, but not to value the voice in his bells. The basket weaver was taught to weave, but not to see the strength in his reeds. The bookbinder was taught to stitch, but not to grasp the legacy in his tomes. The herbalist was taught to gather, but not to know the virtue in his remedies. The fisherman was taught to cast, but not to value the bounty in his nets. The vintner was taught to tend, but not to grasp the joy in his vines. The ferryman was taught to row, but not to understand the passage in his boat. The wicker worker was taught to weave, but not to see the treasure in his baskets. The quarryman was taught to hew, but not to know the foundation in his stones. The silversmith was taught to shape, but not to value the radiance in his metal. The bell ringer was taught to ring, but not to hear the song in his chimes. This forgotten voice, this sacred knowing, was drowned in the hum of routine, buried beneath the weight of facts, lost in the chalk dust of classrooms, dimmed in the shadow of rules, silenced in the haze of sameness, veiled in the fog of the unexamined. Yet, my friends, that voice is not gone. It lingers still, waiting in the silence, burning in the heart, shining in the soul, singing in the spirit, ready to speak to those who dare to listen, to those who dare to ask what lies beyond the blackboard, to those who dare to seek the wisdom that no schoolmaster ever taught, to those who dare to kindle a light that shines through the ages, to follow a star that guides through the cosmos, to sing a song that lifts the heavens, to carve a legacy that endures forever. As we move to the next truth, I pause to ask you to stay with this fellowship, this circle of souls who dare to hear the forgotten voice. Subscribe to this broadcast, for these words are sparks to kindle your purpose, stars to guide your journey, songs to lift your spirit, truths to light your eternity. Share your thoughts below. What does this forgotten voice whisper to your soul? Your voice is a spark that could light a world, a star that could shine through the ages, a song that could lift the heavens, a truth that could endure forever. Let it be heard. For your truth is a thread in the tapestry of eternity, a light in the fire of the cosmos, a song in the hymn of forever. Why, then, do so many walk through life as if in a dream, their eyes fixed on the earth, their hearts bound to the ordinary, their souls tethered to the unexamined, their lights unlit, their stars unseen, their songs unsung, their truths unshared? It is because we are trained not to question, but to follow, not to create, but to conform, not to understand, but to obey, not to shine, but to fade, not to rise, but to linger, not to sing, but to silence, not to build, but to drift, not to seek, but to settle, not to awaken, but to dream. From the chalk-dusted hallways of our youth to the gray cities of the mind, we are shaped in workshops of sameness, where the soul's fire is dimmed, where the heart's song is hushed, where the spirit's star is veiled, where the truth's light is shadowed, where the legacy's foundation is unlaid. In the schoolhouse, the child is taught to sit still, to memorize, to repeat, to trace the narrow paths of rules etched in ink and routine, to follow the lines of lessons that prepare him for labor, but not for life, for earning, but not for understanding, for existence, but not for meaning, for toil, but not for truth, for wages, but not for wisdom, for days, but not for destiny. He is taught the names of rivers, but not the currents that carry wealth through their waters. He is taught the dates of battles, but not the principles that forge empires. He is taught the rules of verse, but not the power of the poet's vision. He is taught to count, but not to comprehend the worth of his trade. The farmer's son is shown the plow, but not the life in his seed before it grows. The blacksmith's apprentice is given the hammer, but not the strength in his iron before it forms. The sailor's child is taught to read the stars, but not the wealth in his cargo before it sails. The merchant's heir is shown the ledger, but not the invisible tides that shape the market. The teacher's pupil is taught to recite, but not to unveil the truths that awaken the soul. The poet is taught to rhyme, but not to see the fire in his verses. The philosopher is taught to think, but not to walk the path of his wisdom. The weaver is taught to thread, but not to grasp the stories in her loom. The gardener is taught to plant, but not to see the hope in her blooms. The stonemason is taught to carve, but not to understand the eternity in his stones. The violinist is taught to play, but not to feel the power of her melodies. The tailor is taught to stitch, but not to see the elegance in his garments. The traveler is taught to walk, but not to chart the riches of his journeys. The calligrapher is taught to write, but not to value the wisdom in his words. The baker is taught to knead, but not to grasp the warmth in his bread. The candlemaker is taught to mold, but not to see the light in his flames. The watchmaker is taught to craft, but not to know the eternity in his gears. The potter is taught to shape, but not to see the beauty in his clay. The painter is taught to brush, but not to value the dreams in his colors. The carpenter is taught to build, but not to grasp the strength in his wood. The jeweler is taught to polish, but not to see the radiance in his gems. The leatherworker is taught to tan, but not to understand the endurance in his hides. The miller is taught to grind, but not to know the sustenance in his grain. The cooper is taught to bind, but not to grasp the wealth in his barrels. The engraver is taught to etch, but not to value the truths in his marks. The embroiderer is taught to stitch, but not to see the beauty in her silk. The scribe is taught to scribe, but not to understand the wisdom in his words. The lyrist is taught to play, but not to know the heavens in his songs. The sculptor is taught to carve, but not to grasp the life in his stone. The bookbinder is taught to bind, but not to value the knowledge in his pages. The coppersmith is taught to hammer, but not to see the worth in his craft. The mosaicist is taught to lay, but not to know the tales in his tiles. The glassmaker is taught to craft, but not to grasp the splendor in his windows. The beekeeper is taught to tend, but not to understand the wealth in his hives. The bell founder is taught to forge, but not to value the songs in his bells. The basket weaver is taught to weave, but not to see the strength in his reeds. The bookbinder is taught to stitch, but not to grasp the legacy in his tomes. The herbalist is taught to gather, but not to know the healing in his remedies. The fisherman is taught to cast, but not to value the bounty in his nets. The vintner is taught to tend, but not to grasp the joy in his vines. The ferryman is taught to row, but not to understand the journey in his crossings. The wicker worker is taught to weave, but not to see the treasure in his baskets. The quarryman is taught to hew, but not to know the foundation in his stones. The silversmith is taught to shape, but not to value the radiance in his metal. The bell ringer is taught to ring, but not to hear the song in his chimes. And so we sleepwalk, moving through life as if guided by unseen hands. Our days spent in pursuit of something we do not grasp. Our nights haunted by the weight of truths unspoken. Our souls shadowed by the light we never sought. Our hearts silenced by the songs we never sang. Our spirits dimmed by the stars we never followed. We are trained to labor, to trade, to earn, but rarely to learn deeply, to question boldly, to seek the principles that shape the tides of wealth as surely as the moon shapes the sea, as the dawn shapes the day, as the fire shapes the hearth, as the song shapes the soul. In the gray cities of the mind, we build lives of routine, of safety, of sameness, but never dare to step beyond the walls, to see the light that lies beyond, to hear the song that calls beyond, to follow the truth that shines beyond, to build the legacy that endures beyond. We walk the paths of the farmer, the blacksmith, the sailor, the merchant, the teacher, the poet, the philosopher, the weaver, and all the rest. Yet we walk them with eyes unseeing, hearts unfeeling, souls unyielding. Our lives a journey without a map, our labor without a meaning, our truth without a light. And yet, my friends, the fault lies not in the world, nor in the schoolhouse, nor in the rules that bind us, nor in the chalk that dusts our days, nor in the routine that shadows our nights. The fault lies in our own slumber, in our willingness to walk the path without asking its purpose, to chase the coin without seeking its meaning, to labor without grasping its truth, to live without kindling its light, to dream without following its star, to hope without singing its song. Before we face the cost of this slumber, I ask you to join this journey further, to stand with those who dare to awaken, to seek, to shine, to sing, to build. Subscribe to this broadcast, for these truths are lights that guide your path, fires that warm your purpose, songs that lift your destiny, stars that shine through your eternity. Share your thoughts below. What holds you in the gray cities of the mind? What shadows keep your soul from singing? Your voice is a spark that could light a world, a star that could shine through the ages, a song that could lift the heavens, a truth that could endure forever. Let it be heard, for your truth is a light in the fire of eternity, a song in the hymn of forever, a legacy that shines through the cosmos. What then is the cost of this slumber, this silence, this refusal to heed the forgotten voice, to kindle the unlit fire, to follow the unseen star, to sing the unsung song, to build the unbuilt legacy? It is a cost not measured in coins alone, nor in the glitter of gold, nor in the weight of empty purses, but in the quiet erosion of the soul, in the slow fading of hope's light, in the heavy shadow of a life half lived, in the heart silence where a song should ring, in the spirit's dimness where a star should shine, in the soul's depth where a truth should burn. Picture a man, his years long upon him, his hair silvered by time's gentle hand, his hands worn by the weight of countless labors, standing alone in the twilight of his days, beneath a sky heavy with stars that burn with truths he never knew, their light a song he never sang. their fire a warmth he never felt, their truth a legacy he never built. He has worked faithfully, his heart steady, his hand strong, his spirit true. He has plowed fields as a farmer, his harvests feeding the village, yet never grasping the life in his grain before it grew, its promise a truth he never held. He has forged iron as a blacksmith, his tools shaping homes and fields, yet never understanding the strength in his craft beyond his wage, its power a light he never saw. He has sailed seas as a sailor, his cargo crossing empires, yet never charting the tides of wealth that moved him, their currents a path he never walked. He has traded wares as a merchant, his ledger full of numbers, yet never seeing the invisible hands that wove the market, their art a wisdom he never learned. He has taught lessons as a schoolmaster, shaping minds with care, yet never sharing the truths that could awaken, his knowledge a gift he never gave. He has written verses as a poet, stirring hearts with beauty, yet never valuing the fire of his words, their light a song he never sang. He has pondered truths as a philosopher, his thoughts soaring high, yet never applying them to the art of living, their wisdom a path he never trod. He has woven tapestries as a weaver, her threads telling tales eternal, yet never grasping the wealth of her stories, their legacy a truth he never wove. He has tended gardens as a gardener, her blooms a vision of paradise, yet never seeing the hope in her soil, its beauty a dream he never dreamed. He has carved stone as a stonemason, his monuments standing through centuries, yet never understanding the immortality in his craft, its endurance a truth he never touched. He has played melodies as a violinist, her music lifting heavens, yet never knowing the power of her song, its glory a light she never saw. He has stitched garments as a tailor, his robes gracing the form, yet never comprehending the elegance he crafts, its grace a beauty he never felt. He has wandered roads as a traveler, his journeys sparking wonder, yet never charting the wealth of his paths, their stories a truth he never told. He has written words as a calligrapher, his quill tracing truths, yet never grasping the light in his ink, its wisdom a fire he never kindled. He has baked loaves as a baker, his bread nourishing the weary, yet never valuing the warmth in his labor, its hope a gift he never shared. He has molded candles as a candle maker, his flames piercing the night, yet never seeing the glow in his stars, their light a promise he never kept. He has crafted clocks as a watchmaker, his gears turning moments, yet never understanding the eternity in his time, its rhythm a pulse he never felt. He has shaped clay as a potter, his vessels holding life, yet never grasping the beauty in his forms, its grace a treasure he never held. He has painted canvases as a painter, his colors stirring, yet never valuing the dreams in his strokes, their vision a light he never saw. He has built homes as a carpenter, his wood sheltering, yet never grasping the strength in his craft, its shelter a truth he never built. He has polished gems as a jeweler, his stones catching dawn's light, yet never seeing the stone's radiance he shapes, their brilliance a star he never shone. He has crafted leather as a leather worker, his hides enduring time, yet never understanding the strength in his work, its resilience a power he never wielded. He has ground grain as a miller, his flour feeding the world, yet never grasping the sustenance in his harvest, its bounty a gift he never gave. He has bound barrels as a cooper, his staves holding riches, yet never valuing the wealth he contained, its abundance a truth he never held. He has etched metal as an engraver, his marks shining deep, yet never seeing the wisdom in his truths, their light forever a shadow, unheeded. He has stitched silk as an embroiderer, her patterns a beauty divine, yet never grasping the grace she weaves, its splendor a gift she never gave. He has scribed parchment as a scribe, his words echoing ages, yet never valuing the wisdom he writes, its legacy a truth he never shared. He has played songs as a lyrist, his hymns lifting heavens, yet never knowing the glory of his music, its spirit a song he never sang. He has sculpted stone as a sculptor, his forms breathing life, yet never grasping the immortality he shapes, its legacy a monument he never built. He has bound books as a bookbinder, his pages guarding truth, yet never valuing the knowledge he holds, its wisdom a light he never shone. He has hammered copper as a coppersmith, his metal gleaming, yet never seeing the shine in his craft, its beauty a truth he never saw. He has laid tiles as a mosaicist, his stories a tapestry of time, yet never knowing the tales he weaves, their radiance a truth he never told. He has crafted glass as a glassmaker, his windows glowing with light, yet never grasping the splendor he creates, its glory a vision he never saw. He has tended bees as a beekeeper, his honey sweetening the world, yet never understanding the wealth of his hives, its bounty a gift he never gave. He has forged bells as a bell founder, his voices ringing through ages, yet never valuing the sound of his call, its echo a song he never heard. He has woven reeds as a basket weaver, his crafts held strong, yet never seeing the strength he shapes, unyielding. He has gathered herbs as a herbalist, his remedies healing, yet never grasping the healing in his touch, its power a gift unshared. He has cast nets as a fisherman, yet never valued the bounty in his hands, its life a truth unclaimed. He has tended vines as a vintner, yet never tasted the joy in his harvest, its warmth a gift ungiven. He has rowed as a ferryman, yet never charted the path of his crossings, their journey a truth untold. He has woven wicker, yet never held the treasure in his craft, its care a secret unkept. He has hewn stone as a quarryman, yet never built the foundation with his labor, its strength a truth unlaid. He has shaped silver as a silversmith, yet never shone the radiance in his art, its brilliance a star unlit. He has rung bells as a silent bell ringer, yet never heard the song in his chimes, its call a truth unsung. As he stands beneath the stars, a shadow falls heavy across his heart, heavy with the weight of years unlearned, truths unspoken, lights unlit, stars unseen, songs unsung, legacies unbuilt. He sees now that his life has been a labor without mastery, a pursuit without purpose, a dream without fire, a path without light, a song without sound, a truth without weight. He has spent decades chasing wealth without knowing its source, building a life without grasping its meaning, living a story that never shone, a journey that never led, a hope that never burned, ever. He knows now that the wisdom he never sought was his birthright, the sacred fire of understanding, the radiant star of value, the eternal song of truth, the principles that turn labor into legacy, time into treasure, dreams into destiny, life into eternity. This man is not poor in coins, perhaps, but he is poor in freedom, in mastery, in the dignity of knowing, in the power of wisdom, in the light of his soul, in the song of his spirit, ever and ever. The cost of this silence is a wound upon the soul, a life of effort without meaning, of purpose without fulfillment, of days lost to a mystery unsolved, of nights shadowed by truth unheeded, of a heart yearning for a song it never sang, of a spirit seeking a star it never shone, of a soul longing for a legacy it never built. And so, my friends, let us not be among those who reach the dusk of their days with this shadow upon their hearts, this silence in their souls, this dimness in their spirits, this light unlit, this star unseen, this song unsung, this truth unshared, ever and ever. Before we rise, I urge you to stand with this fellowship, to join those who seek to awaken, to kindle, to shine, to sing, to build, ever and ever. Subscribe to this broadcast, for these truths are fires that warm your purpose, stars that light your path, songs that lift your destiny, lights that shine through eternity. Share your heart below. What cost have you paid for this silence? What shadows will you cast away? Your voice is a spark that could light a world, a star that could shine through the ages, a song that could lift the heavens, a truth that could endure forever. Let it be heard, for your truth is a light in the fire of eternity, a song in the hymn of forever, a legacy that shines through the cosmos, ever and ever. And now, my friend, my sacred friends, I, Earl Nightingale, call you to awaken, to rise from the shadows of routine, to step beyond the gray cities of the mind, to cast off the chains of silence, to kindle the fire of wisdom that no schoolhouse ever taught, to follow the star of truth that no blackboard ever traced, to sing the song of eternity that no lesson ever voiced, to build the legacy that no tradition ever shaped, ever and ever. This is no call to chase fleeting gold, nor to hoard the cold weight of coins, nor to bind your soul to the ledger's shadow, nor to dim your spirit in the glitter of gain, nor to silence your heart in the clamor of commerce. No, it is a call to learn the sacred truths that govern value, the eternal flames of principle, the radiant stars of exchange, the immortal songs of creation, the enduring wisdom that transforms time into treasure, labor into legacy, effort into eternity, dreams into destiny, ever and ever. Begin now, my sacred friends, in the quiet of your heart, in the solitude of your soul, in the fire of your spirit, in the light of your purpose, to ask the questions no schoolmaster dare to teach, to seek the wisdom no classroom ever unveiled, to kindle the light no lesson ever lit, to follow the path no star ever charted, to sing the song no hymn ever echoed, ever and ever. What is the life in the farmer's seed before it grows, the promise it holds before it feeds the world, the hope it sows before it yields eternity? What is the strength in the blacksmith's iron before it shapes, the tools it forms before they build empires, the power it forges before it stands enduring? What is the wonder of the sailor's cargo before it sails, the tides it rides before they cross oceans, the journey it charts before it reaches the stars? What is the vision of the merchant's trade before it weaves, the bridges it builds before they span empires, the currents it connects before they flow forever? What is the light of the teacher's wisdom before it blooms, the minds it shapes before they awaken, the truth it plants before it shines eternal? What is the fire of the poet's verse before it stirs, the hearts it moves before they sing forever, the beauty it kindles before it glows immortal? What is the truth of the philosopher's thought before it shines, the ages it lights before they endure forever, the wisdom it shares before it stands eternal? What is the story of the weaver's thread before it tells, the tales it weaves before they echo through time, the legacy it crafts before it endures forever? What is the hope of the gardener's bloom before it grows, the paradise it dreams before it blossoms, the beauty it nurtures before it shines eternal? What is the immortality of the stonemason's stone before it stands, the ages it holds before it endures forever, the monument it builds before it glows immortal? What is the heaven of the violinist's song before it lifts, the souls it stirs before they shine forever, the melody it weaves before it sings eternal? What is the elegance of the tailor's robe before it graces, the spirits it lifts before they glow forever, the beauty it crafts before it endures immortal? What is the wonder of the traveler's road before it leads, the wealth it charts before it sparks forever, the journey it weaves before it shines eternal? What is the light of the calligrapher's word before it shines, the truths it traces before they glow forever, the wisdom it shares before it endures immortal? What is the warmth of the baker's bread before it feeds, The hope it nurtures before it shines forever, the sustenance it offers before it glows eternal. What is the glow of the candle-maker's flame before it burns? The darkness it pierces before it lights forever, the promise it holds before it shines immortal. What is the moment of the watchmaker's gear before it ticks? The eternity it counts before it endures forever, the rhythm it weaves before it glows eternal. What is the beauty of the potter's clay before it forms? The life it holds before it shines forever, the grace it crafts before it endures immortal. What is the dream of the painter's color before it stirs? The hearts it moves before they glow forever, the vision it weaves before it shines eternal. What is the strength of the carpenter's wood before it shelters? The lives it holds before they endure forever, the foundation it builds before it glows immortal. What is the radiance of the jeweler's gem before it shines? The dawn it catches before it lights forever, the brilliance it crafts before it endures eternal. What is the resilience of the leatherworker's hide before it endures? The strength it holds before it shines forever, the power it weaves before it glows immortal. What is the sustenance of the miller's grain before it feeds? The lives it nourishes before they endure forever, the bounty it offers before it shines eternal. What is the wealth of the cooper's stave before it holds? The riches it contains before they glow forever, the abundance it crafts before it endures immortal. What is the truth of the engraver's mark before it shines? The ages it speaks before they light forever, the wisdom it shares before it glows eternal. What is the beauty of the embroiderer's silk before it graces? The eternity it weaves before it shines forever, the art it crafts before it endures immortal. What is the wisdom of the scribe's word before it echoes? The centuries it spans before they glow forever, the legacy it builds before it shines eternal. What is the heaven of the lyrist's song before it lifts? The souls it raises before they shine forever, the melody it weaves before it glows immortal. What is the life of the sculptor's stone before it breathes? The eternity it shapes before it stands forever, the monument it builds before it endures eternal. What is the knowledge of the bookbinder's page before it preserves? The wisdom it guards before it shines forever, the truth it shares before it glows immortal. What is the shine of the coppersmith's metal before it gleams? The ages it graces before they light forever, the beauty it crafts before it endures eternal. What is the story of the mosaicist's tile before it tells? The tales it weaves before they shine forever, the history it shares before it glows immortal. What is the splendor of the glassmaker's window before it glows? The heavens it holds before they light forever, the vision it crafts before it endures eternal. What is the wealth of the beekeeper's hive before it yields? The bounty it offers before it shines forever, the gift it shares before it glows immortal. What is the voice of the bell founder's bell before it rings? The ages it calls before they shine forever, the song it weaves before it endures eternal. What is the strength of the basket weaver's reed before it holds? The burdens it carries before they light forever, the craft it shares before it glows immortal. What is the legacy of the bookbinder's tome before it guards? The wisdom it holds before it shines forever, the truth it crafts before it endures eternal. What is the virtue of the herbalist's remedy before it heals? The lives it restores before they shine forever, the care it offers before it glows immortal. What is the bounty of the fisherman's net before it catches? The life it draws before it lights forever, the sustenance it shares before it endures eternal. What is the joy of the vintner's vine before it yields? The warmth it offers before it shines forever, the celebration it crafts before it glows immortal. What is the journey of the ferryman's boat before it crosses? The paths it charts before they light forever, the connection it weaves before it endures eternal. What is the treasure of the wickerworker's basket before it holds? The gifts it carries before they shine forever, the care it crafts before it glows immortal. What is the foundation of the quarryman's stone before it builds? The world it shapes before it lights forever, the strength it shares before it endures eternal. What is the radiance of the silversmith's metal before it shines? the beauty it crafts before it shines forever, the brilliance it weaves before it glows immortal. What is the song of the bell ringer's chime before it rings, the dawn it calls before it lights forever, the truth it shares before it endures eternal? These are not mere questions, my friends, but sacred flames, truths of time, of effort, of creation, of value, of exchange, of destiny, enduring as the mountains that stand eternal, radiant as the fields that bloom anew, boundless as the seas that whisper secrets, ever and ever as the stars that light the way. Seek this wisdom, my friends, not in the blackboards of routine, not in the chatter of the marketplace, not in the dust of conformity, but in the quiet of your labor, in the fire of your solitude, in the starlight of your dreams, in the silence of your heart, in the truth of your spirit, ever and ever. Learn from the farmer, whose patience sows life into the earth, his harvest a lesson that time yields its treasures to those who wait. Learn from the blacksmith, whose hammer sings of strength, his iron a testament to the power of creation. Learn from the sailor, whose courage rides the tides, his voyage is a map of truths unseen yet eternal. Learn from the merchant, whose vision bridges worlds, his trade a thread that weaves through the fabric of time. Learn from the teacher, whose words light the mind, her lessons a spark that opens the door to wisdom. Learn from the poet, whose verses capture the soul's fire, his songs a hymn that echoes through the ages. Learn from the philosopher, whose thoughts trace the paths of truth, his wisdom a beacon for the seeking heart. From the weaver, whose threads tell stories eternal, her craft a legacy that speaks through time. From the gardener, whose blooms nurture hope, her hands a prayer that blossoms forever. From the stonemason, whose stones stand as monuments, his labor a truth that endures the centuries. From the violinist, they whose music lifts the heavens, their melody's a song that carries the soul. From the tailor, whose garments weave elegance, his needle a thread that graces the spirit. From the traveler, whose roads spark wonder, his journey's a light that shines through the unknown. From the calligrapher, whose words burn with truth, his page is a wisdom that lights the ages. From the baker, whose bread warms the heart, his oven a hearth that feeds the soul. From the candle maker, whose flames pierce the dark, her light a star that guides the night. And ever, from all who labor with purpose, whose hands shape the world, whose hearts sing of eternity, whose souls burn with truth. This is your wisdom, your inheritance, your sacred legacy, waiting for the soul who dares to think, to seek, to shine, to sing, to build, ever and ever. Rise now, my friends, and claim this truth. Let your days be a quest for understanding, your nights a sanctuary of light, your life a testament to the fire of wisdom that burns within, ever and ever. And now, my sacred friends, as we close this sacred broadcast, I, Earl Nightingale, leave you with this eternal truth, this radiant light that shines through the ages. Your wealth is not in the coin, nor in the fleeting glitter of gold, nor in the shadow of gain, but in the radiant wisdom that lights your soul, the enduring truth that shapes your heart, the eternal fire that forges your destiny, the everlasting legacy that carves your name into the heart of time. To know the worth of your labor, to see the value of your time, to grasp the power of your purpose, to kindle the light of your truth, to follow the star of your destiny, to sing the song of your eternity, is to hold a treasure no storm can sink, no fire can dim, no time can fade, no hand can steal, no shadow can cast, no silence can hush, ever and ever. Go now, my friends, and awaken. Let your wisdom be your guide, your truth be your strength, your purpose be your light, your legacy a fire that shines through the ages. Rise, Seek the truth, shape your destiny, and let your soul be a star that lights the eternal night, a song that lifts the endless heavens, a monument that stands through the boundless tide of time, ever and ever. Subscribe to this truth, my friends, for these words are lights to guide your path, fires to warm your heart, songs to lift your spirit, stars to shine through your eternity. Share your heart below. What truth will you kindle? What light will you shine? What legacy will you build? Your voice is a spark that could light a world, a star that could shine through the ages, a song that could lift the heavens, a truth that could endure forever. Let it be heard, for your truth is a light in the fire of eternity, a song in the hymn of forever, a legacy that shines through the cosmos, ever and ever. Stay with us, my friends, for together we will seek, we will shine, we will sing, we will build, a truth that lights the world, a fire that warms the ages, a song that lifts the stars, a legacy that endures eternal, ever and ever.